Hello everyone. In this video I'll try to explain you the 1020 EEG electrode placement system. Okay, there is a reason why this is called as 1020 system. We'll cover that. Before getting into that, I would like to tell you the regions, how it's been classified, how the part of brain is classified to place electrodes, right? Okay, so we'll start with the region classification. Let's consider this as your nose, right? And there is a point here. If you keep your finger on the back part of your head, you can feel a small dip, a small depression, right above your neck. There is a small depression, right? That depression is called as, okay, it's called as inion. The one on the top is nason. Nason is a small depression that is right above your nose, a small depression, right, in the center of your eyes, right? So from nason to inion, what we are going to do is we are going to draw a line, and we will be using a tape and we will measure the distance between nason to inion, right? Let's say I'm measuring a difference between distance between nason and inion, and I'm getting 10 centimeter. Okay, 10 centimeter is not possible. Let's consider for example. Likewise, you'll have to measure from right ear to left ear, right? So whatever you're doing between nason and inion, the same thing should be done from between your right ear to left ear, right? So first we will measure the difference, the distance between the nason and inion, and we will start placing the electrodes, right? So how we are going to place the electrode is, we are going to place with a distance of 10 percentage first, and then 20 percentage, then 20 percentage, then 20 percentage, then 20 percentage, and then 10 percentage, right? So we are going to use 10 and 20 percentage. That is the reason why this system is called as 10-20 system, right? So 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now we are going to place the electrodes, right? So the first electrode is placed at a distance of 10 percentage from the nason. This is nason, right? From that 10 percentage difference, we just saw that in this example the distance is 10 centimeter. So 10 percentage of the distance will be 1 centimeter. So the first electrode is placed here, then second electrode is placed here, which is 2 centimeter away from first electrode, because 20 percentage. The next again 20 percentage, so again 2 centimeter away. Next is 20%, again 2 centimeter away. Next is 20 percentage, again 2 centimeter away. Whereas next one is only 10 percentage, so it is only 1 centimeter away, right? Similarly, you'll have to put from right ear to left ear, right? So now we know how the electrodes are placed, right? Now we should know that what names should be given to these electrodes. We know that electrodes are going to be placed at this particular position only because of the nature of the 10-20 system. We should know the name that should be given to this electrode. So to do that, let's go to the next diagram. Here I will show you how the brain has been classified, right, for the ease of naming electrodes. So this is the front part, nason. This is the inion part, right? Okay, so the one in the extreme front is pharyngeal. Then next we have a small region which is front polar region, and then we have frontal region, right? Then from there onwards, on the side we have temporal region, right? Then below that we have parietal region, and below that is occipital region, and this is central region. right? If you see, all this region has specific functions, like this frontal region is responsible for thinking, and temporal region is for hearing, occipital region is for seeing, vision, right? Then central region is for motor cortex, right? Sorry, central region is higher order thinking and other work, whereas parietal has the motor cortex that will take care of the movement of your human body, right? So this is how the anatomy is function segregated for the ease of placement of electrodes. Now if we place an electrode, let's say I'm going to place an electrode here. If I place an electrode here, this electrode should be named as C because it is in central region. Similarly, if I place an electrode here, this should be named as T because the electrode is placed in temporal region. Okay, remember that. Now we are going to start placing the electrodes. I'm taking its diagram. For easy understanding, let me draw the segregation, so that will be helpful for us to draw the diagram, place the electrodes easily. Right. Okay, so we'll start placing the electrode. Okay, so first we'll start from the center, right? So now this is a center. To help us know that it is a center, let's draw a line. Okay, the one, this side is left side, this is right side, this is the central line, right? So another very important thing that you have to note is, whenever you place an electrode on the right side, you should name it with even numbers, whereas here this should be named with odd numbers, right? First, as I told, we are placing this electrode here. This is the center region, right? This is center region, right? So this electrode should be named as C, and this is lying on 0th line, so I'm going to rename it as CZ, right? So next electrode is placed here, which is again center, and the next electrode is placed here. Now this should be obviously named C, but can we name it, what number should be given here? We cannot give number 1, that would be a mistake, because this law states that in the right side the number should be even. So can we give 2? That again will become wrong. The reason is, come back here, if you see from here to here the distance is 20%, right? So if it is 20%, which means we are skipping one electrode that is to be placed here. So the C2 should have been here, but we have skipped it, right? So we should not write C2 here, it should be C4, because C2 has been skipped, because the distance here is 20%. Similarly, on the left side it should be C3, C1 is skipped, right? So now we have placed the center electrodes. Now let's move to front electrodes, F, Z. Then in this side should be F4, another one electrode F. Now what should it be? F4. Should it be F6? No, it cannot be F6, it should be F8, again because 20% difference. Similarly on the left side, F3, F7, right? So now we are done with 2 electrodes, to region, that is front region, then central region. Let's come to parietal, PZ. This should be obviously P4, this should be P3. Right. Now here comes the temporal region, right? So temporal region starting as T3, then T5. Here it should be T4 and T5. sits. Right? See, this distance is 20 percentage, whereas this distance is 10 percentage. That's why here it's be 10. And then these are all the basic placements. Then after that, on the other side, in the occipital region, we don't need center point. Okay, because the center point would become inion is the center point, right? So we don't need that. So instead of placing on the center, we'll place O. This should be O1, this should be O2. The reason is the difference is only 10 percentage. See, to justify it, let's go back and see this region has only 10 percentage, right? So distance is only 10 percentage. So O1, O2. Right. Similarly, on the top, FP1, FP2. Right. So this is how the electrodes are placed in an electroencephalogram. Right. So always begin with CZ and then proceed with frontal electrodes, then parietal electrodes, then temporal electrodes. Right. So this is how you place electrodes in EEG. So the previous diagram was little clumsy, so I'm going to redraw a diagram. So how what I'm doing is like using a standard format or a presentable one, right? So same way I'm going to place the electrode. First I'm going to start with C, Z on the right side, 20 percentage difference, so C4. On the left, 25 percentage, sorry, 20 percentage, so C3. That's it, center is done. Now we'll move to temporal T3, and this is just 10 percentage difference, so T5. Right, that would be a mistake because it should be T4 and T6, since the right should only even number is allowed, whereas in the left you can have odd numbers here. So T3, T5, right? Then we'll have a parietal PZ on the left, P3 on the right, P4. Then down below that we have occipital region, which is O1, O2, right? Then we'll have frontal region is like the long region, so next will be F4 and then F8. On the left, F3 and F7. Then on the top we have front polar 1, front polar 2, right? So this is how the electrodes are correctly placed, and in addition to that there are also electrodes like E2 and A1, right? So these are auditory electrodes, E1 and A2, that is on the sides over your ear, right? So try to understand how the electrodes are placed. Once you understand it, you can easily draw the diagram, right? Thank you.